Ambassador Yunseo Choi stood in the council chamber, her hands shaking. The holographic display before her showed 3 planets, except they were not planets anymore. They were burning. All 3 human colonies were gone. The alien sitting across from her did not look sorry. His name was impossible to pronounce in human language, so everyone called him Overseer Thrax. He was tall, covered in dark scales, with 4 arms crossed over his chest. His species, the Vreniks, controlled most of the Council's military forces. The containment was necessary, Thrax said. His voice came through the translator device as cold and flat. Your species advances too quickly. It violates natural law. Yunseo felt sick. 2 million people. 2 million humans living peaceful lives on those colonies. Farmers, scientists, children, all gone in 3 coordinated strikes. We had a pact, she said. Her voice was barely a whisper. 50 years ago, Earth signed the treaty. We limited our military. We followed your rules. We trusted you. Thrax tilted his head. Your trust was foolish. The pact was always temporary. Your kind learns too fast. You adapt too well. The Council has decided that humanity must be controlled before you become a threat. Other Council members watched the conversation. Some looked away. Others nodded in agreement with Thrax. Yunseo realized with horror that this was not just the Vreniks. Multiple species had voted for this attack. They had planned it together. This is murder, Yunseo said. This is survival, Thrax replied. Your species will accept new terms. You will dismantle your remaining ships. You will submit to Council observers in your system. You will stop your research programs. If you refuse, more colonies will burn. Yunseo looked at the other ambassadors. Is this what the Galactic Council has become? We came in peace. We shared our culture, our art, our knowledge. And you repay us with genocide? No one answered her. The silence in the chamber was worse than any words. Far away from the council station, Captain Daewon Kim was eating his lunch when the alert came through. Every screen on his ship, the Horizon's Edge, turned red. Emergency protocols activated across all systems. Captain to the bridge. His first officer shouted through the intercom. Daewon ran. He had been a military officer for 20 years, but he had never seen a code like this. When he reached the bridge, his crew was already at battle stations. What's happening? He demanded. Sir, we're receiving an emergency broadcast from Earth Command, his communications officer said. The young woman's face was pale. 3 colonies have been destroyed. Council forces. Admiral Jiwoo Park is recalling all ships to Sol system immediately. Daewon felt his stomach drop. Which colonies? New Seoul, Harmony Station, and Terra Nova. Those were peaceful settlements. No military bases. No weapons. Just families trying to build new lives among the stars. Set course for Earth, Daewon ordered. Maximum speed. Sir, if we use the jump gates, the Council will track us. I don't care. Get us home. Now. On Earth, deep beneath the Swiss mountains, Admiral Jiwoo Park stood in a command center that officially did not exist. For 50 years she had waited for this day. She had hoped it would never come, but she had prepared. Around her, dozens of officers worked at computer stations. Holographic displays showed the positions of every human ship, every station, every asset in space. And they showed things that the Galactic Council did not know existed. Madam Admiral, one of her aides said, all Earth defense forces are ready. The hidden fleet is standing by for your orders. Jiwoo nodded slowly. She was 68 years old. She had grandchildren. She had hoped to retire next year and spend time with them. Instead, she was about to start a war. Connect me to President Zhang, she said. A moment later, President Min-seok Jang appeared on the screen. He looked tired. He had been in emergency meetings for 6 hours since the attack. Admiral, the president said, tell me you have options. I have options, sir, Jiwoo replied. But they will surprise a lot of people, including most of our own government. I don't care about surprises anymore. 2 million of our people are dead. What can we do? Jiwoo took a deep breath. Sir, when Earth joined the Galactic Council 50 years ago, we agreed to limit our military development. But some of us remembered human history. We remembered what happens to those who trust too much. So we built a backup plan. What kind of backup plan? The kind that can win a war, sir. In another facility, this one hidden beneath the ocean floor, Dr. Hana Lee was not surprised by the attack. She was angry but not surprised. She had argued for years that the Council feared humanity. Now she had been proven right. Hana was 42 years old and had been called a genius since she was a child. She had 3 doctorates in physics and had spent the last 15 years working on a project that would change everything. Her assistant, a young man named Wu Jin, ran into her laboratory. "Dr. Lee, have you heard the news?" "I heard," Hana said quietly. She was standing before a massive machine. It looked like a ring of metal and crystal, 30 meters across, glowing with soft blue light. "And now they're going to understand why they should have left us alone." "Is it ready?" Wu Jin asked. "It's been ready for 6 months, Hana replied. "I've been waiting for authorization to deploy it. I think we'll get that authorization very soon." "What does it do?" Hana smiled, but there was no humor in it. "It breaks the laws of physics that the Council thinks are absolute. They control all the jump gates in the galaxy. They think that gives them power over all space travel. They're wrong." She walked to a control panel and entered a long sequence of codes. The ring began to glow brighter. "This is a quantum fold drive," Hana explained. "It doesn't use jump gates. It doesn't use wormholes. It folds space itself. A ship with this drive can go anywhere in the galaxy instantly. No gates, no restrictions, no Council control." Wu Jin stared at the machine with wide eyes. "How many of these have we built?" "Enough," Hana said. "Earth has been installing them on ships for the past year. In secret. The Council thinks we have 40 military vessels. They're wrong about that too." Back on the horizon's edge, Captain Day 1 received a second transmission. This one was encrypted with codes he had never seen before. When he decrypted it, he found a message from Admiral Ji-woo herself. "Captain Kim," the message began, "what you are about to learn is classified at the highest level. 50 years ago, Earth agreed to limitations that seemed reasonable. But we also made preparations that seemed wise. Your ship is equipped with systems you have never been trained on. Your crew is larger than standard military vessels for a reason. You have engineers, weapons specialists, and technology that the Council does not know about. Stand by for new orders. Humanity is not as helpless as we have appeared. Protocol retaliation is now active." Daewon read the message 3 times. Then he looked around his bridge at his crew. Good people. Loyal people. People who had just learned that 2 million humans had been murdered by the very aliens they had trusted. "Attention all crew," Daewon said into the shipwide intercom. "I need everyone to report to their stations. We have new orders coming, and I need to tell you about some systems on this ship that you didn't know existed." As he spoke, alerts began appearing across the galaxy. In 50 different star systems, hidden sensors detected something impossible. Human ships were vanishing from their patrol routes. Not destroyed, just gone. Disappearing without using any jump gates. The Galactic Council had shattered their pact with humanity. They had killed 2 million innocents to send a message of fear. They were about to learn that humans could send messages too. And humanity's reply would arrive faster than light. The world learned the truth in stages. First came the emergency broadcasts. Then came the anger. Then came something the Galactic Council had never expected from humans. Cold, calculated determination. President Min Seok-jong stood before every camera on Earth. He was 55 years old with gray hair and tired eyes. But his voice was steady. "Citizens of Earth," he began, "I will not lie to you. The Galactic Council has betrayed us. They have murdered 2 million of our people. They claim we are advancing too quickly. They claim we are a threat. They are wrong about the threat we were. They are right about the threat we have become." He paused, letting the words sink in. "For 50 years we have followed their rules. We limited our military. We used their gates for travel. We pretended to be weaker than we were. We did this because some of us remembered history. We remembered that peace is precious, but freedom requires strength. Today I am authorized to tell you what your government has been building in secret." Across Earth, people watched in shock as President Jang revealed the truth. Hidden shipyards, secret research facilities, weapons that the Council did not know existed, an entire fleet of warships that had been disguised as cargo vessels and mining ships. "We are not helpless," the President said. "We are not victims. We are humans. And we have been preparing for this day since the moment we joined the Council. They wanted us weak. We appeared weak. We are not." Commander Soo Jin-han did not watch the President's speech. She was already in space aboard a stealth ship that the Council's sensors could not detect. Her team of 12 Special Forces operators sat in the cargo bay, checking their equipment. Soo Jin was 34 years old and had been training for missions like this since she was 20. She was small, fast, and absolutely lethal. Her team called her Ghost because she could move through enemy territory without leaving a trace. "Listen up," she told her team. "Our target is a council listening post at the edge of their territory. Intelligence believes they have been monitoring Earth for years. We need their data. We need to know how long they've been planning this attack." One of her operators, a big man named Kyung-soo, raised his hand. "Rules of engagement, Commander?" "Non-lethal if possible," Soo-jin replied. "But if they try to stop us, you are authorized to use whatever force is necessary. The Council killed 2 million of us. I will not lose a single member of this team because we were too polite." The stealth ship approached the listening post. It was a small station orbiting a dead planet. According to the records, it had a crew of 20 aliens from different Council species. Soo-jin's team moved like shadows. They used magnetic boots to walk across the station's hull. They cut through an airlock with plasma torches. They disabled the station's communications array before anyone inside knew they were there. The first alien guard they encountered was tall and thin with gray skin. He reached for an alarm. Kyung-soo hit him with a stun weapon before he could move. The alien collapsed silently. It took them 18 minutes to secure the entire station. 20 alien crew members now unconscious and locked in their own cargo bay. 0 casualties on either side. Soo-jin sat at the station's main computer terminal. "Woo-jin, you're up," she said to her tech specialist. Woo-jin was 26 years old and could hack any system in the galaxy. He plugged his portable computer into the alien terminal and started downloading files. "This is—" "Oh no," Woo-jin said. His face went pale as he read the data. "Commander, you need to see this." Soo-jin looked at the screen. What she saw made her angry in a way she had never felt before. The Council had been planning to attack Earth for 7 years. They had been monitoring human progress. They had held secret votes. They had discussed different ways to contain humanity. And they had decided that destroying the colonies was just the first step. If Earth did not surrender completely, the Council planned to attack Earth itself. "Copy everything," Soo-jin ordered. "Every file. Every communication. Earth Command needs to see this." Back on Earth, Captain Daewon Kim was being briefed in a secure facility. Admiral Ji-woo Park herself was explaining the situation. "Captain," the Admiral said, "your ship is special. Every system on the horizon's edge was designed to look ordinary, but to hide extraordinary capabilities. Your engines can generate 3 times the power the Council thinks is possible. Your hull is made from materials we developed in secret. And your weapons?" She brought up a holographic display. It showed a weapon that looked like a long metal rod. "This is a kinetic lance," the Admiral explained. "It accelerates a solid projectile to 99% of light speed. When it hits a target, the impact releases more energy than a nuclear weapon. And because it travels so fast, the enemy cannot see it coming until after it hits." Daewon stared at the display. "How many of these do we have?" "Every human warship has 10, the Admiral replied. "And we have 120 warships, not the 40 that we reported to the Council. Why keep this secret for so long?" Admiral Ji-woo smiled sadly. "Because we hoped we would never need it. We wanted peace, but we also remembered Earth's history. We remembered what happened to the Native Americans when Europeans arrived. We remembered what happened to weak nations when strong empires wanted their resources. We decided that humanity would never be weak again." She pulled up another display. This one showed a strange device that looked like a ring. "This is Dr. Hana Lee's quantum fold drive. It allows a ship to jump anywhere without using jump gates. The Council controls all the gates in the galaxy. They think that gives them control over all interstellar travel. They're wrong." Daewon began to understand. "We can go anywhere, at any time, without them knowing." "Exactly," the Admiral said. "And we are about to teach them a lesson about attacking humanity." In his workshop, Engineer Tae-yang Kwan was putting the final touches on a new weapon system. Tai-yang was 40 years old and had designed most of Earth's secret military technology. He looked like a simple mechanic, but his mind understood physics and engineering at a level that few humans could match. His current project was an improvement to the ship shields. The Council used energy barriers that could stop most weapons, but Tae-yang had figured out how to make weapons that could pass through energy barriers as if they were not there. "The trick," he explained to his assistant, "is to match the frequency of the shield. It's like finding the right key for a lock. Once you understand how their shields work, you can make weapons that ignore them completely." His assistant, a young woman named Miran, looked worried. But won't they figure out how we're doing it and adapt? Taeyang grinned. Eventually, yes. But by then, I will have invented 3 more ways to defeat their shields. That's the advantage we have. They think in terms of following rules and known physics. We think in terms of breaking rules and discovering new physics. They are predictable. We are creative. All across Earth's solar system, ships were gathering. They appeared from behind planets, from asteroid bases, from hidden stations in the outer system. Ships that were supposed to be civilian cargo haulers transformed. Weapons ports opening in their hulls. Mining vessels revealed military-grade engines. Research stations launched fighter squadrons. The Council had thought Earth had 40 military ships. They were wrong. Earth had 120 warships, each one more advanced than anything the Council had seen. Admiral Ji-Woo Park stood in her command center, watching the fleet assemble. This was it. 50 years of preparation, 50 years of pretending to be weaker than they were, 50 years of building in secret. All ships report ready, Admiral, her aide said. Very good, Ji-Woo replied. She opened a channel to the entire fleet. Attention all vessels. This is Admiral Park. The Council has murdered 2 million of our people. They think we will surrender. They think we will beg for mercy. They are wrong. We will show them that humanity does not break. We bend, we adapt, we overcome. Fleet orders are being transmitted now. Each ship has a target. You will jump in exactly 1 hour. May humanity's courage guide you. She closed the channel and looked at the tactical display. 120 ships. Each one was about to jump to a different location in Council space. Each one was about to deliver a message that could not be misunderstood. The Council had shattered the Pact. Now they would learn what happened when you made humanity angry. Captain Day 1. Kim stood on his bridge looking at his crew. They were ready. They were angry. But they were also disciplined. That was the human advantage. They could be furious and still think clearly. Navigation, he said. Set coordinates for the Vrenix home system. His navigation officer looked shocked. Sir, that's the heart of Council military power. I know, Day 1 replied. That's why we're going there. Activate the quantum fold drive. Around the ship, space began to twist. The horizon's edge disappeared from Earth's solar system without using any jump gate. When it reappeared, it would be in a place where the Council thought humans could never reach. The war was beginning, and humanity's first strike would be faster than light. The Vrenix home system had never been attacked. For 3,000 years, it had been the military heart of the Galactic Council. Dozens of orbital defense platforms surrounded the planet. Battle stations floated at every strategic point. The entire system was a fortress. When space twisted and the horizon's edge appeared, alarms started screaming across every Vrenix military installation. Captain Daewon Kim stood calmly on his bridge. Around him, his crew worked with smooth efficiency. They had trained for this. They were ready. Tactical report, Daewon ordered. 32 defense platforms detected, his tactical officer replied. 26 capital ships in orbit. They're activating weapons and launching fighters. Good, Daewon said. That means they're afraid. Captain Bora, launch your fighters. Captain Bora Song was 29 years old and commanded the fighter wing aboard the Horizon's Edge. She sat in her cockpit, surrounded by 49 other human pilots. Each of them flew a small, fast ship that the Council had never seen before. All wings, this is Bora, she said into her radio. Remember your training. Fast strikes. Precision targeting. No civilian casualties. Let's show them what human pilots can do. Her fighter launched from the Horizon's Edge at incredible speed. The Council defenders tried to target her squadron, but the human ships were too fast, too maneuverable. They dodged through incoming fire like dancers. Bora targeted the nearest defense platform. It was a massive structure, bristling with weapons. But it was also predictable. Its weapons tracked in patterns. Patterns could be learned. Patterns could be beaten. She fired a single missile. It was small, but it was smart. The missile adjusted its course 12 times in 3 seconds, avoiding all defensive fire. It struck the platform's power core. The entire station went dark. Platform 1 neutralized, Bora reported. No destruction, just disabled. Moving to Platform 2. Across the system, 49 other human pilots were doing the same thing. They moved too fast for the Vrenix defenders to track. They struck with perfect precision. Defense platforms went dark one after another. On the planet below, Overseer Thraxian Prime watched in horror. This was impossible. Humans were supposed to be weak. They were supposed to have limited technology. They were not supposed to appear in the heart of Rennick space without using jump gates. How did they get here? He demanded. Where did they come from? His second-in-command, a younger Vrenix named Krath, checked the sensors. They just appeared, Overseer. No jump gate signature, no wormhole. They just appeared, and there's more. We're detecting quantum signatures from 17 other human ships. They're positioned at every strategic point in the system. They're everywhere. Thraxian felt something he had not experienced in decades: fear. On the horizon's edge, Captain Day Wan watched as his tactical display updated. 17 other human ships had jumped into the system at the exact same moment as his. It was perfect coordination. The Council defenders did not know where to focus their attention. Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the Vrenix fleet, his communications officer reported. They're demanding we surrender. Day One almost laughed. Tell them we'll consider it after they answer for the 2 million humans they murdered. Tactical, prepare kinetic lances. Target their military shipyards only. No civilian structures. Lances ready, sir. Fire. From the horizon's edge, 10 metal rods launched at 99% of light speed. The Vrenix defenders could not see them coming. By the time light from the rods reached their sensors, the rods had already hit their targets. 3 military shipyards exploded. Not from the impact itself, but from the incredible energy release. Each rod carried more kinetic energy than a nuclear weapon. The shipyards simply vaporized. But Day One had been careful. Each target was in orbit, far from any civilian population. The destruction was total, but no innocent lives were lost. Message sent, Day One said quietly. Now let's see if they're smart enough to understand it. Commander Sujin Han's stealth ship floated near Thraxian Prime's command station. Her mission was different from the main fleet. While they struck military targets, she had a more delicate task: capture the man who had ordered the attack on Earth's colonies. Teams 1 and 2, you're with me, Sujin said. Team 3, secure our exit route. Kyung-soo, I need you to hack their computer systems. We need to know everything about the attack on our colonies. Her teams moved silently through the Vrenix command station. They used cloaking technology that bent light around them. The aliens walked past without seeing the human soldiers just meters away. Sujin found Thraxian in his command center, shouting orders at his subordinates. The big alien was panicking. His carefully planned attack on humanity had turned into a nightmare. Human ships had appeared from nowhere. His defenses were being disabled without a single human casualty, and his own forces had not managed to hit a single human ship. Stand by, Sujin whispered to her team. She counted down from 3 with her fingers. On 0, they moved, stun weapons fired. Thraxian's guards collapsed. The Overseer himself barely had time to turn before Sujin's team surrounded him. He was big, maybe 3 times her weight, but he was also slow. Overseer Thraxian Prime, Sujin said in perfect Council standard language. You are under arrest for the murder of 2 million humans. You will come with us, Thraxian tried to fight. One of his forearms reached for a weapon. Kyung-soo shot him with a stun gun. The big alien crashed to the floor. Package secured, Sujin reported. Kyung-soo, download their data and let's move. While Kyung-soo worked at the computer terminals, Sujin checked the tactical situation. Human ships were systematically disabling every military installation in the system. Fighter squadrons led by Captain Bora had destroyed or disabled all orbital defenses. The Vrenix fleet was in chaos. Commander, you need to see this, Kyung-soo said. His face was grim. The attack on our colonies was authorized by 13 different council species. The Vrenix led the attack, but 12 other species voted in favor. They had a whole plan. First the colonies. Then if Earth didn't surrender, they were going to blockade our system and starve us out. Sujin felt cold anger. Copy everything. Earth Command needs to see this. Let's move. They dragged the unconscious Thraxian back to their stealth ship. Behind them, the Vrenix home system was burning. Not with civilian casualties, not with mass destruction, but with the precise surgical removal of military power. Intelligence Officer Hyun-woo Shin was aboard the command ship, analyzing the data that Commander Sujin's team had captured. What he found was worse than anyone had expected. Admiral, Hyun-woo said to Admiral Ji-woo Park over the quantum communication link, the conspiracy is bigger than we thought. 13 council species were involved in the attack. They've been planning this for 7 years. And according to these documents, they have a fleet of over 10,000 ships assembling at a staging point. If we don't surrender, they plan to attack Earth itself. Admiral Jiwoo was silent for a long moment. 10,000 ships? Yes, ma'am. From 40 different star systems. Then we need to send them a stronger message. Prepare to broadcast on all council frequencies. A moment later, Admiral Jiwoo Park's face appeared on every communication screen in council space. Billions of aliens across hundreds of worlds watched as the human admiral spoke. I am Admiral Jiwoo Park of the United Earth Defense Fleet, she said. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were hard. Hours ago, you watched as council forces destroyed 3 human colonies. 2 million of our people died, children, families, innocents. They were murdered because the council feared our progress. She paused. You have just watched as we disabled the Vrenix home system without firing on a single civilian. Every defense platform in their system is offline. Every military shipyard is destroyed, and we have captured Overseer Thraxian Prime. He will stand trial for his crimes. Let me be very clear. We did not start this war, but we are prepared to finish it. We have disabled your strongest military power in less than 4 hours. We did this without killing innocents. We showed restraint. We showed precision. We showed mercy. Her voice became harder. You killed 2 million of our people. We have disabled your military without harming your civilians. This is your only warning. Leave Earth alone, or you will learn what humanity becomes when we stop showing mercy. We do not want war, but we will not be victims. The choice is yours. The transmission ended. Across the galaxy, the Galactic Council convened an emergency session. Fear and anger filled the chamber in equal measure. Some species demanded total war against humanity. Others recognized that the humans had shown incredible restraint. They could have killed billions of Vrenix civilians. Instead, they had struck only military targets. But the warmongers were louder. They cannot be allowed to threaten us. One alien ambassador shouted. We must crush them before they become unstoppable. Assemble the fleet, another agreed. Every ship, every species. We will show these humans what happens when they challenge the council. One voice spoke quietly against the others. It belonged to a Nexian, a species known for their wisdom. Perhaps we should consider peace. They showed mercy when they could have shown destruction. That is not the action of monsters, but the Nexian was shouted down. The council voted war, total war. Colonel Jinho Park stood in the command center of Earth's sole defense grid. He was 52 years old and had spent 30 years preparing for an attack that he hoped would never come. Around him, thousands of automated defense stations powered up for the first time in combat mode. How many ships are they bringing? He asked his sensor officer. Long-range sensors detect 9,842 ships, the officer replied. Her voice shook slightly. 43 different species. They're assembling at the edge of the Kuiper Belt. Jinho looked at the tactical display. It was the largest military fleet ever assembled in known galactic history. Against them, Earth had 120 warships. Activate the Sol barrier, Jinho ordered. Throughout the solar system, hidden devices activated. Quantum mines appeared in space, invisible to normal sensors. Automated defense platforms powered up, each one equipped with weapons that could destroy a capital ship. Satellites that had pretended to be space junk for 50 years revealed themselves as weapon platforms. Barrier is active, sir, his tactical officer reported. We have 17,000 automated defense units online. 23,000 quantum mines deployed. The system is a fortress. It will have to be, Jinho said quietly. They outnumber us badly. In space near Jupiter, Captain Daewon Kim's fleet had returned to Earth. 120 ships against nearly 10,000. The math was not good. Sir, we're receiving a transmission, his communications officer said. It's from the Council fleet. Their commander is demanding to speak with you. Put him through. A hologram appeared on the bridge. It showed an alien that looked like a massive insect, with compound eyes and 4 mandibles. This was Grand Admiral Keshatar, commander of the Council's combined forces. Human captain, Keshtar said through his translator. I am authorized to offer you terms of surrender. Dismantle all your military vessels. Submit to Council control. Accept monitoring stations throughout your system. Do this, and your species will be allowed to survive as a subject race. Daewon looked at the alien commander for a long moment. And if we refuse, then we will destroy every human ship. We will bombard your planet. We will eliminate your species as a threat. You have 1 hour to surrender. The transmission ended. Day 1 turned to his crew. Send a message to all human ships. Tell them what the Grand Admiral said, then ask them if they want to surrender. His communications officer sent the message. Responses came back within minutes. From all 120 ships, the answer was the same. No, on Earth, President Min Seok-jang addressed his planet one final time before the battle. My fellow humans, he said, I will not lie to you. The largest fleet in history is about to attack us. They offer us slavery or death. But we are humans. Our ancestors faced impossible odds before. They survived ice ages. They survived plagues. They survived wars and disasters and every challenge the universe could throw at them. We will survive this too. He paused, looking directly into the camera. We sought only peace. We followed their rules. We limited our military as they demanded, and they rewarded our trust with genocide. They murdered 2 million of us to send a message of fear. Today we send them a different message. Humanity does not break. We do not surrender. We do not accept slavery. Come for us if you dare. But know this, every ship you send against us will pay a price. And that price will be higher than you can imagine. The Council fleet advanced. 9,842 ships moved into Earth's solar system like a storm of metal and death. Grand Admiral Keshtar was confident. No species had ever resisted the Council's full military power. The humans had been clever in the Vrennick system. But cleverness would not stop 10,000 ships. All vessels, Keshtar transmitted. Advance in formation. Destroy the human fleet. Prepare to bombard their homeworld. The Council ships moved forward. That was when they encountered the first surprise. Quantum mines began exploding throughout the fleet. These were not normal mines. They did not simply blow up. They created small tears in space itself, pulling nearby ships into dimensional rifts. Dozens of Council vessels disappeared in the first wave of detonations. Evasive maneuvers. Keshtar shouted, All ships scatter! But scattering broke their formation. And that was when Colonel Jin Ho Park's automated defense stations opened fire. Thousands of weapon platforms, each one equipped with kinetic lances and energy weapons designed by engineer Tae-Yang Kwan, began systematically targeting Council ships. The battle became chaos. Council ships tried to shoot the defense platforms, but there were too many of them. For every platform they destroyed, 3 more appeared from behind asteroids or hidden in planetary rings. Captain Bo-Ra Song led her fighter wing into the battle, 50 human fighters against thousands of Council vessels. It should have been suicide. But the Council ships were designed to fight other capital ships, not small, fast fighters that could appear and disappear using quantum jumps. All wings, Bo-Ra transmitted. Use the asteroids for cover. Strike and fade. Make them waste ammunition chasing ghosts. Her fighters danced through the battle space. They would appear, fire a missile or two, then quantum jump before the enemy could target them. Council ships fired at empty space, hitting their own vessels as often as hitting human fighters. On the horizon's edge, Captain Dae-won watched the battle unfold. The Council fleet was larger, but they were also predictable. They followed standard military doctrine. They fought the way they had always fought. Humans fought differently. All ships, Dae-won transmitted to the human fleet. Activate Prometheus Protocol. Engineer Tae-Yang Kwan's final weapon was not really a weapon at all. It was a tactic. Every human ship became capable of quantum jumping inside enemy formations, firing all weapons, then jumping out before the enemy could respond. It was guerrilla warfare on a galactic scale. Human ships appeared inside the Council fleet, fired kinetic lances at point-blank range, then disappeared. Council vessels exploded or went dark. The enemy tried to adapt, but every time they found a counter-tactic, the humans changed their approach. But the Council had numbers. For every Council ship destroyed, there were 10 more. Slowly, inevitably, human ships began to fall. The destroyer Brave Dawn took a direct hit from 3 Council cruisers. It exploded, taking 72 crew members with it. The carrier Rising Star lost its engines and drifted into enemy fire. Gone. The frigate Determination was overwhelmed by Council fighters. Lost. On Earth, people watched the battle through telescopes and sensors. They saw their defenders fighting, they saw them dying, and they saw them refusing to surrender. Captain Bo-Ra's fighter took damage. Her shields failed. Her engines were hit. She was drifting, unable to maneuver. Bo-Ra, Captain Dae-won transmitted. Report. Engines are gone, Captain, Bo-Ra replied. Her voice was calm even though she knew she was about to die. "It's been an honor serving with you." 5 council fighters moved in to finish her. But before they could fire, another human fighter quantum jumped directly between them. It was one of Bora's squadron mates, a pilot named Sang-woo. "Not today," Sang-woo said. He fired at the enemy fighters, destroying 2 of them. The others scattered. "Bora, I'm attaching a tow cable." "Hold on." He pulled her damaged fighter back toward the human fleet, dodging enemy fire all the way. The battle raged for 6 hours. Colonel Jinho Park's Sol defense grid was holding, but barely. Half of his automated platforms were destroyed. Most of his quantum mines were expended. The council fleet was battered but still had 7,000 ships remaining. And then something unexpected happened. A transmission came through on all council frequencies. It was not from Earth Command. It was from someone inside the council fleet itself. "All council vessels," a voice said in perfect council standard. "This is Nexian Council member Risha. I am transmitting from my diplomatic ship within the fleet. I have reviewed the evidence regarding the attack on human colonies. The council leadership lied to us. The humans were not preparing to attack. They were simply advancing technologically. The attack was not defensive. It was genocide. I am declaring my opposition to this war." Grand Admiral Keshatar was furious. "Someone silence that transmission!" But it was too late. Other voices joined the Nexian. Some council species had never wanted this war. They had been pressured by the warmongers. Now, seeing the human determination, seeing how humanity fought with courage despite impossible odds, they began to question. "This is the Kelthian delegation," another voice said. "We withdraw from this battle." The humans showed mercy in the Vrenic system. They targeted only military installations. "We are killing them for having the courage to defend themselves. This is not justice. This is murder." 300 ships from the Kelthian fleet stopped fighting and withdrew from the battle zone. Keshatar watched as his coalition began to fracture. Other species followed the Kelthians. Some kept fighting, but with less enthusiasm. The humans had done something impossible. They had made the council doubt itself. "All ships," Keshatar ordered. "Target the human command vessel. Kill their leadership." 2,000 council ships focused their fire on the horizon's edge. Captain Daewon saw the attack coming. "All power to forward shields," he ordered. "Brace for impact." The council weapons hit like a storm of fire. The horizon's edge shook. Systems failed. The war ended not with surrender, but with silence. For 3 days after the battle, the Galactic Council said nothing. Their fleet had been shattered. Their confidence had been broken. And they had no idea what to do next. On Earth, people mourned their dead and celebrated their survival. 3,000 human soldiers had given their lives to defend their homeworld. Memorials were held across the planet. President Min Seok-jang personally visited the families of those who had fallen. "Your loved ones saved us all," he told them. They proved that humanity will never surrender. Their sacrifice will never be forgotten. But even as Earth mourned, they prepared. The Council might attack again. Admiral Ji-woo Park had her engineers working around the clock to repair damaged ships and build new ones. "We won this battle," she told her staff. "But we need to make sure they never dare attack us again." The council chamber was in chaos. For 50 years, the council had ruled the galaxy with absolute authority. Now their authority was broken. The Vrenix delegation was humiliated. Their home system was still recovering from Earth's surgical strike. Grand Admiral Keshatar was dead, along with over 3,000 council ships destroyed in the battle for Earth. But worse than the military losses was the political damage. Several species had openly refused to fight the humans. The Nexian delegate, Risha, was demanding answers. "We were told the humans were preparing to attack us," Risha said, her translator making her alien voice understandable. "We were told they were expanding their military to threaten council space. But the evidence shows otherwise. The humans were simply advancing technologically, and we attacked them for it. We killed 2 million innocents." The Vrenix representative tried to defend the decision. They were advancing too quickly. They could have become a threat. "Could have," Risha replied coldly. "That is not justice. That is fear. And now we have turned a peaceful species into enemies. We attacked their colonies. They responded by attacking only our military. We sent 10,000 ships to destroy their world. They defended themselves and then offered mercy. Which of us is truly the threat?" The debate raged for hours. Finally, the moderate species formed a coalition. They removed the warmongers from power. It was essentially a coup, but a bloodless one. The old council leadership was arrested and charged with war crimes. The new council, led by Risha and representatives from species that had refused to fight humanity, sent a message to Earth they wanted to negotiate. Ambassador Unji Lim was appointed as Earth's new chief negotiator. She was 60 years old, had 3 doctorates in diplomacy and xenopolitics, and was known for being impossible to intimidate. When she arrived at the council station for negotiations, the alien representatives were surprised. They had expected a military officer. Instead, they got a small woman who smiled politely but whose eyes were made of steel. "Let me be clear about Earth's position," Yunji said in the first meeting. "We did not want this war. We followed your rules for 50 years. We trusted you, and you betrayed that trust by murdering our people. So before we discuss any new treaties, you will answer for your crimes." The aliens shifted uncomfortably. They had expected the humans to simply accept apologies and move on. Humans apparently did not work that way. "We propose the following," Yunji continued. "First, the council will formally apologize for the attack on our colonies. Second, you will pay reparations. 3 star systems with habitable planets to be settled by humans without council interference. Third, Earth will be given a permanent seat on the Galactic Council with full voting rights. Fourth, you will provide us with all council technology and information that you previously withheld. And fifth, all species that participated in the attack will submit to human inspection of their military forces for the next 20 years. Risha blinked her large alien eyes. "Those are significant demands." 2 million of our people are dead," Yunji replied. Her voice was calm but firm. "Your fleet tried to destroy our homeworld, and we still showed mercy. We could have destroyed every council world. We did not. Consider our demands generous. The negotiations took 3 weeks. In the end, the council agreed to most of Earth's terms. 3 star systems were granted to humanity. Earth received a council seat, and the species that had attacked Earth's colonies agreed to submit to inspections. But there was one more condition that Ambassador Yunji insisted on. "We will share our quantum fold drive technology," she announced, "but only with species that sign a new treaty. A treaty of true equals. No more superior species dictating to inferior ones. No more attacks on emerging civilizations. A real alliance based on mutual respect." Captain Daewon Kim had survived the battle, but his ship had not. The Horizon's Edge was too damaged to repair. It would be broken down for scrap, and its crew would be reassigned. On the final day aboard his ship, Daewon walked through the empty corridors. He remembered the faces of the crew members who had died, 72 people, friends and colleagues who would never walk these halls again. "Sir," a voice said behind him. He turned to see Captain Bora Song. She had survived, though her fighter had been destroyed. Now she wore the insignia of a promoted officer. "I just received my new assignment," Bora said. "I'm being given command of a new carrier. The Admiralty wants me to train the next generation of pilots." Daewon smiled. "You'll be good at it. You saved a lot of lives in that battle." "We all did what we had to do," Bora replied. "But sir, I wanted to thank you. You taught me that courage is not about being fearless. It's about being terrified and doing your duty anyway." "That's not courage," Daewon said. "That's just being human." Dr. Hana Lee stood in her laboratory looking at her quantum fold drive. The technology that had changed everything. The invention that had saved Earth. Other scientists crowded around her. They had questions. How did it work? How could they improve it? What else could quantum folding do? "We are sharing this technology with the Council," Hana announced. "But we are also going to keep improving it. The Council will get the current generation. We will develop the next generation. And we will always stay ahead. That is how we ensure our safety. Not through isolation, but through innovation." One of her assistants, Wu Jin, raised his hand. "Dr. Lee, what's our next project?" Hana smiled. It was a mysterious smile. "I've been detecting some unusual signals. Beyond the galactic rim. Something old. Something that has been dormant for a very long time. And our quantum drives seem to have awakened it. Is it dangerous?" Wu Jin asked. "Unknown," Hana replied. "But we should probably be prepared. Humanity has survived the Council. Whatever is out there beyond the galaxy, we'll survive that too." Dr. Sangwoo Park, a xenosociology expert, published a paper that became required reading across Earth and eventually throughout Council space. It was titled, Why Humanity Adapts Cultural Diversity as Strategic Advantage. In the paper, Sang-Woo explained something that the Council had never understood. Alien species in the galaxy tended to be homogeneous. Each species had one culture, one way of thinking, one approach to problems. When they encountered something new, they consulted their traditions and did what they had always done. Humans were different. Earth had thousands of cultures, hundreds of languages, dozens of different approaches to science, art, warfare, and diplomacy. When humans encountered a problem, they could draw on countless different perspectives. The Council thought human diversity was weakness, Sang-Woo wrote. They saw our disagreements and conflicts and assumed we were unstable. They were wrong. Our diversity is our strength. When one approach fails, we try another, and another. We never stop adapting. The paper impressed even the aliens. Several Council species began encouraging cultural diversity within their own populations, hoping to gain some of humanity's adaptive advantage. 1 year after the war, Earth held a memorial service for those who had died. President Min-seok Jang stood before a wall inscribed with 3 million names. 2 million from the colonies. 1 million from the war itself. They died so that humanity could be free, the president said. They died defending our right to exist, to grow, to explore the stars without fear. We owe them everything. In the crowd, Captain Daewon stood in his dress uniform. Admiral Ji-woo Park stood beside him, now retired. Commander Soo-jin Han was there, though few people recognized her. Dr. Hana Lee attended with her entire research team. Engineer Tae Yang-kwan came, though he looked uncomfortable in formal clothes. They were the people who had saved Earth. But they did not think of themselves as heroes. They thought of themselves as humans who had done what needed to be done. In the council chamber, Ambassador Yoon-ji Liam cast Earth's first official vote as a council member. The vote was about admitting a new species to the council, a young civilization that had just developed faster than light travel. The old council would have restricted them, would have limited their development, would have treated them as inferiors. Yoon-ji voted to welcome them as equals. Her vote, combined with the moderate species, passed the measure. The galaxy is changing, Risha said to Yoon-ji after the vote, because of humanity. We did not want to change anything, Yoon-ji replied. We just wanted to be left alone. But since the council forced our hand, we decided to make things better. For everyone. 6 months later, Dr.